Sports meets that thing called life. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic week this week. I know that a lot of people around this beautiful country have gotten sick. Different viruses have gone on. My sinuses have been insane. And so I know that a lot of us are on the mend, trying to get on the mend, trying to get better. And PJ, as well as Miss Mary T, are a part of that list. So your continued prayers, well wishes, and support of everybody to heal and handle well whatever comes our way are much appreciated. And PJ is going to be joining us in just a little bit here, so we're very happy that we get to do that with Papa Joe. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, I'm calling them the Diamond Dons of baseball. The Diamond Dons are going to be joining me this morning. Papa Joe in Hour 1, Ross Turetsky in Hour 2. We're going to talk about many different things, including Aaron Judge, Jacob deGrom, Justin Verlander, the other moves that are happening, moves that maybe should be made. We'll get into all of it as I am proudly wearing my Mickey New York shirt because I was just down in Disney, just did a show last Monday with Papa J down in the great state of Florida, in the Sunshine State. And now here I am with Mickey again to give an ode back to our second home of Florida. And, of course, a Mickey New York shirt because we're going to be talking about the Mets, the Yankees, and more with Papa Joe and Ross Turetsky, both inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Cafe Kubal, make sure you head out there, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, New York. You also find them on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-thru location. So don't miss a moment of Cafe Kubal and their holiday blend coffee that you can now get for a limited time while supplies last. So get yourself over there to Cafe Kubal. With that being said, happy to be here with you on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT, and those are all with you worldwide. You can also find us on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and on the Facebook.com/Live Now page as well, Live Now DT. So that's Facebook.com/Live Now DT. With that being said, the first Diamond Don of baseball joins me here in Hour 1, and that's PJ. PJ, Papa Joe, how are we?
Good morning, Daniel. Struggling a little bit, but if I start talking baseball, I'll feel a little bit better.
That coming from Papa Joe here on the broadcast. So let's start things off with the Jacob deGrom leaving for the Texas Rangers, Justin Verlander coming in. You're a big Verlander fan. I was talking to our guy Greg here, and longtime listener and supporter. Appreciate him so very much. And Greg sent some love out to you and Miss Mary T to get on the mend and feel better soon. And him and I were talking about this, and we were discussing that you're a big Verlander fan. So what do you think about Verlander going to the Mets and Jacob deGrom leaving the Mets to go to the Texas Rangers?
Well, I didn't see this one coming because I didn't think that Verlander wanted to leave the Texas area. Obviously, it's a home run. I know he's got to stay healthy, but that he'll stay healthy. He'll throw his heart out. And can you believe there's Matt Scherzer and Justin Verlander on the same team throwing? It boggles the mind. I don't know what else to say. Justin Verlander is one of my favorite players. I've watched him ever since he started playing ball with Detroit. And I knew he had something special because he always had a good fastball, kept it up a little bit, and then he got a nasty 12-6 curveball and changeups. You know, all these guys have such good pitches, and he's got them all. And to watch him last year at the age of 39 and come back from a Tommy John surgery, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
Come back from that. And had the kind of year that he had, we were looking at history, and we were looking at a future Cy Young Award winner. A Cy Young Award winner for the third time, and also a Hall of Fame participant very shortly. As soon as he gets out of baseball, I don't know, he may want to pitch another couple of years. I don't know if he's got another year, 2 years in him, but he's certainly going to throw good for 1 year unless he gets hurt. So we'll see what happens. The Mets look like they're in it for the long haul here, buddy. That's your team.
And seeing the Mets and seeing what they've done up to this point to bring in certain guys and to have that good pitching rotation. When you bring in Verlander, like you said, I mean, he's obviously been around the block here, and he's played a good amount of time inside of Major League Baseball. And we go back and we look at when it all started back in 2005 with the Detroit Tigers, and spent many years with the Tigers before coming to Houston for the last few seasons here. And looking at it overall, 17 years that he's been here, believe it or not, 244 wins, 133 losses, a winning percentage of over 64%. His ERA all time in 17 years is 3.24. But his ERA in recent history, his best moments are coming right now in recent history, like a fine wine, potentially getting better with time. A couple years, though, I mean, losing deGrom, a younger pitcher who's been going through injuries here and there, PJ, for a pitcher who's obviously been proven in Verlander and has, like I said, done some great things with his ERA and his wins and making himself look really awesome in the here and now, despite the fact that some people look at it and say he's played almost 2 decades in Major League Baseball. Well, when you look at it, are they getting better? And in his case, he is getting better in different areas, and he is completely effective with what he's doing right now. So, I mean, 2 years of Verlander, losing deGrom, who's been injured for the last couple seasons. Is this the right move right now?
Oh, I think so. In his case, he's a extraordinary young talent. He's had his problems too. These guys that throw so hard and put everything into every pitch, it's difficult for them to stay. To me, in my opinion, difficult for them to stay healthy all the time. And I've described and noted on the show before is baseball pitching in baseball is a violent motion. There's nothing in it that looks like it's easy. When you see some of these guys bend their right arm all the way back to the butt just to get a ball that's going to break from 12 to 6, it's a violent motion. And most of the time, you rip apart your elbow and you have Tommy John and all this kind of stuff. But deGrom certainly is a Hall of Fame player. If it continues to play well, he got 2 Cy Young awards also. So I think this is a good move for him. Get it in another league. I didn't expect Texas, though. This came out of the cold for me. I didn't see this one at all either. So there's a lot of free agent signings that were different, but those two are the most important because Verlander will certainly anchor the Mets pitching staff along with Scherzer. I can't imagine playing a doubleheader against the Mets and facing Verlander and Scherzer. That would be frightening. So I wish deGrom luck. I think hopefully his arm pulls together and see what he can do down in another league.
Yeah, we'll have to see if things can hold together for him and he can stay healthy. I think that's the biggest thing. Getting Verlander for 2 years, though, the next couple seasons at this point in the current contract, PJ, do you feel like that's enough? Enough value that the Mets are getting in return for losing a guy that, if he can stay healthy, potentially, obviously, is going to have more time in Major League Baseball. So do you think making this move for Verlander right now at this point in Verlander's career is the right move for the Mets? Can he be a missing piece, a missing element to them moving forward in the postseason?
Yes, all the baseball purists, they try to plan for the season. Well, nothing goes according to plan. If you can nab someone like Verlander for 2 years, then, you got yourself a steal. Now, remember, he's 39. He just turned 40 years old next week, or next month or something like that. And he's going to be, hold on a minute, Danny. Okay. There's someone at the door there. Anyway, signing Verlander for 2 years, it's a no-brainer. And probably going forward, after 2 years, he'll probably go a year at a time like Kershaw is doing. I wouldn't put that past him. But if he's healthy, he's going to keep playing. He's going to keep pitching.
Yeah, we stay in New York here with Papa Joe on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. And we are here this morning with what I'm calling the Diamond Dons of baseball. PJ being our first Don that's on here, and our second being Ross Turetsky coming up right after this first hour. He'll be here with us in hour number 2. So very excited to have them on the broadcast here where sports meets that thing called life. Aaron Judge, there was an interesting thing that came up. Somebody kind of jumped on something thinking that they had it and said that Aaron Judge was going to be going to the San Francisco Giants. That move actually did not end up happening, and Aaron Judge ends up signing with the Yankees. So what are your thoughts on the grand scheme of things here, PJ? I mean, the Aaron Judge sweepstakes was open. You and I have been talking about it all throughout this season, why he wasn't signed in the offseason, and then during the season we continue to have the conversation of why is he not getting signed, why is this not happening, why is it not going through, what are they waiting for, he's going to cost more money. Well, now he's $40 million a year. It breaks out to based on the 9-year, $360 million. If you just take it brass tacks and break it down, $40 million a year over the next 9 years, almost a $400 million contract overall. Your thoughts on the 9-year deal between the Yankees and Aaron Judge?
Well, that's a ludicrous amount of play money, for crying out loud. We're getting crazy here with these $200 and $300 and $400 million contracts. I don't. If I was a baseball businessman, I think I'd rather play Billy Ball and see if I could win the cheap way. It's tough to tell your concept with San Francisco because he's a West Coast guy. He played ball over there in high school, and he played baseball for Fresno State. So it seems like logically maybe he'd like to go home and with his adopted parents. So, but the lure of the Yankee money and the Yankee Stadium and walking down Broadway in the middle of the winter with snow falling and stuff, maybe that was just too much for him to stop with. He's going to be the centerpiece of the team. Yeah. He's going to be everything is going to swirl around him. They're going to have to get some guys to bat in front of him and behind him that will protect him. So I'm looking forward to it, and I think it's a good move. I mean, he wanted to stay in New York, obviously, but he didn't like what they were saying up front. So when they can offer $40 million a year for 9 years, I guess that's turned his head a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, seeing this happen, it could have gone like like we were talking about, could have gone to the San Francisco Giants and been out on the West Coast. That doesn't end up happening here, and we look at this: the $40 million average annual value is a record for a position player, beating out Mike Trout's $35.54 million annual deal with the Los Angeles Angels. He joins Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, who make $43.3 million annually each, as the only $40 million or more plus player a year in baseball history. Made himself an additional 2 years and $146.5 million after rejecting a 7-year, $213.5 million extension in spring training. So looking at this, there's and this the funny part of the conversation. There's only 3 players in baseball history, and they're all current players, and they're all playing in New York, that are making $40 million or more per season. Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander, and Aaron Judge. Your thoughts on that?
It's play money, and they're just throwing this stuff all over the place. You got to look at the economics of the game and how these local teams with the big surplus and the big population can get their deals together with TV. They can augment their bankroll. I guess what I'm saying is that if you have a major league team in a major metropolis, you're going to find a good TV deal for yourself, a cable deal that's going to probably bring several $1 million or several $1 billion into your golf career. So you spend it wisely. I don't have a problem with it. I'm from the old school, Daniel. These guys. I was watching guys play when they were making $1,000 a week, for crying out loud. And that was big money back then. So I don't know if position players are going to be any better than any different than pitchers, but position players maybe have to play a little bit harder and have a little bit more on the longevity of it because they don't have to pitch. Now with Verlander and Scherzer just pitching every 4 or 5 days or something like that, their violent motion comes in to play. But if you've got Judge in his violent motion, which is an uppercut swing, he plays every day, whether he's going to be a DH or he's going to be a center fielder and right fielder. It remains to be seen. I don't like him particularly in center field. I think that one of the guys that they picked up this last year was Harrison Bader. Go Gators! And he's going to play center field for him. I think Judge is typically a right fielder. He's got a big arm. He could probably play all 3 positions equally well. But right field, he liked that spot, and he's got a big arm. If you want to take third on a single from first base, and a single goes to right field, you better have your jets on because he can throw you out probably. I'm excited for them. I'd like to see the Yankees come up with some pitching. No, I think they lost one of their frontline pitchers to someone. I got to look it up, but it's you've always heard me say that you win with pitching and defense, and certainly Houston proved that this last year. And your Mets, it looks like they're going to be pretty strong here, bud.
Yeah, it looks like the rotation is going to be good. Greg and I were talking about this yesterday when we were down in Binghamton watching the Binghamton Bearcats women's basketball team up against Navy, and the men's basketball team face off against Colgate. And Colgate just continuing to impress with Matt Langle and the work of the Binghamton Bearcats men's basketball team with my guy Lavelle Sanders. I know they're trying to find their footing and find their leadership, find their place. And then a great gutting out win for the Binghamton Bearcats women's basketball team led by Beth Ann Shapiro-Ord, and what the team was able to do and just finish off the game in a low-scoring affair through 4 quarters, 54-51. Huge defensive stop provided an opportunity to negate an opportunity for the Navy team to come back. So some great stuff that we were able to see. But yeah, we were talking about that. We were talking about the rotation of the Mets and what it looks like right now, and that's how you win championships, and we know that, and now the Yankees, because I had said if the Yankees didn't get Judge, then what they needed to do is take all that money they would have given him and they needed to spend it on pitchers. I said, go get 3 pitchers, pay them an inordinate amount of money, but, go find 3 pitchers that could be in your rotation. I still think they have to address pitching. I know they're spending $40 million on Aaron Judge, but, PJ, I would think at this point right now, the Yankees need to understand something that we all need to understand. Insanity, the definition, is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. You have Aaron Judge, you have Garrett Cole, you're going to have to do something with your rotation, or else you're going to be the Yankees that have an ace and have a really good hitter that are probably not going to get that far in the postseason. So they need to address pitching. They got to figure that part out. I'd love to get your thoughts on it, because to me, if you go back into the postseason in 2023 with Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge, I feel like you're going to have the same results. Not that they're not good, but they need help.
Sure they do, and the Yankees have not done that. And they lost, I think it was Treylon. I can't pronounce his last name. He was a starter for the Yankees last year, and they lost him to someone. I have to look that up too. But the Yankees look like they want to outscore everyone this year because they signed Anthony Rizzo for 2 years and $40 million, which is that's a good buy too. I mean, Rizzo's a excellent first baseman. I don't think he made an error this year. If he did, he only made one. He's a great glove man at first base, and of course he's got that big uppercut swing of his to right field. So. With Judge and Rizzo and who else they're going to come along with. They got the 2 young kids that they played at the second soccer and the shortstop. The 2 young kids that came up, and I guess they're going to stick with the team. Donaldson, I don't think they'll keep him at third base anymore. I think he's gone. And I said earlier, Harrison Bader in center field is going to provide the defense. So the Yankees have got, I think they got a long way to go yet. And they really need to address the pitching. Now, I noticed that someone else on their list that says Tommy Kenley from L.A. Dodgers, 2 years, $11.5 million. Well, I don't know where that's going to go either, but they need all the help they can get. If they want to outscore everyone 10-8, well, Garrett Cole is not going to be too happy about that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, this is a team that, you cut and paste it, and years ago I said they needed pitching years ago, they need pitching now. If they want, Aaron Judge is going to be Aaron Judge, he's going to do his thing. He doesn't need his pitchers to be good for him to hit balls. So, he's just got to go out there, concentrate, and play his game. But in the reality of it all, in the grand scope of things, if we want to put some rings on the finger of Aaron Judge, then, you got to make sure that this pitching rotation is taken care of. And, that they're in a place. I mean, Cortez is good. You could bring him in and do some things with him. Garrett Cole is Garrett Cole. But, we've seen the Yankees do this. We've seen them do it for years. They go and get one guy, and they pay him a ton of money, and then they just kind of try to figure it out and makeshift it around it. They're going to have to get creative. They're going to have to go out there. Now, PJ, I'm going to give you the free agents of baseball right now when we look at pitching, and love to get your thoughts on this. So we're going to play If You Were the Yankees. So Papa Joe is here right now with the Diamond Dons of baseball are going to be on the broadcast here today with Ross Turetsky coming up in hour number 2, the Cafe Kubal studio. So we take a look at this right now. Available pitchers. We're going to play PJ is running the Yankees. These are the guys that are out. David Price, Zach Greinke, Chris Bassett, Corey Kluber is out there. Some of these names that we can take a look at here. Some of the other, I'm going up and down this list here to give you some that I want to throw at you. But yeah, I mean, that to me is a pretty substantial list. Some of these guys have market value that are here, right now, a market value of over $6 million, $9 million. We look at Chad Kuhl, and market value right now is at $9.4 million. Ross Stripling, a market value of $17 million. We have Dylan Bundy as well. Michael Lorenzen, Jordan Lyles is out there. So, I mean, any thoughts? If you're playing Yankees general manager, if you're playing Yankees general manager, you're out there, you're looking for the right list that's out there right now.
No, I don't. I don't think there's some players that are over the hill that have are on that list, especially Corey Kluber, who was a really good pitcher for a long time, and he's on the way out. There aren't some really big, strong names. I think that the Yankees are going to miss Jamison Taylor, who signed with the Cubs. Taylor used to back up Cole last year, so that's a big hole for them to fill. There's one name on there that sticks out to me that I've followed for quite a while, and that's Noah Syndergaard.
Yeah.
For some reason, he used to play for the Mets. He was a good pitcher for the Mets, and something happened. They traded him somewhere, and then they traded him. They traded him to the Angels, and then the Angels traded him to Philly or something like that. There's a trail there somewhere, but it seems to me that Syndergaard has the stuff to be competitive at a high level. I just think he needs a really, really good pitching coach. And if I was Syndergaard's agent, I would be looking at all the teams that are looking at him and saying, listen, I may be able to take less money from this team, but I love the pitching coach. I think he can help me turn around. Frankly, he needs to turn around. He was a frighteningly fast pitcher 3 or 4 years ago, and he's not that old either. Him and deGrom came up together, and both of them had real long hair at the time, so they were the flowing links there of the pitchers. But I think Syndergaard is one that I would pursue if the pitching coach is going to be around for a while.
Yeah, and I think ultimately whatever they do, they're going to have to do it and do it quickly here. Maybe look at some of the guys too that they can build up. The Yankees in the past were not the team to keep their prospects. They were the ones that would go and take the prospects and sell them so that they could go get other players that had already proven themselves. That was the old Yankees, but the Yankees now, can they build it up, rotation and get in your face and prevent things. Can you stop an Astros team down the line? Can you stop a Dodgers team? The Yankees have some talent, and they have some really, really good talent. But there's been teams throughout history in baseball and in every sport that have good talent, but they don't have it all together. And getting it all together is going to be imperative for this team to move forward. Chris Bassett, I do want to mention him here. He declined a $19 million mutual option. What's on this? Looking at Chris Bassett,
Bogarts
the
told
right-handed
them
pitcher.
he's severing his
What do you think
ties
about
to
Chris
Boston.
Bassett in the grand
He
scheme
won't be
of
back
things
next
right now,
season.
PJ?
Gammons wasn't
he a
sure if
guy
it was in
that
negotiating.
you think? I mean, obviously the Mets could look to keep, but he turned down. He declined the offer, so it seems like he's not going back there. They could continue to go back and forth with him, but if Bassett is there, I mean, does he stay in New York and just jump from Citi Field over to Yankee Stadium?
Well, if I was a young man, and I've been reading the papers, and I've been, especially the New York Daily News and the New York Post, or the baseball fanatic newspapers. If I was him, I would be looking real carefully at the New York Mets and saying, I got a chance to play with two future Hall of Famers. Now, if that doesn't rattle your chain a little bit, I don't know what would. If I was Chris Bassett, I would not leave anywhere. I don't care if the Angels threw $30 million a year at him. Not only do you get to play with Verlander and Scherzer, but you get to watch them, and that's the key. And if he's a smart young man, that's what he should do. You got to put the money aside. Someone's going to give him $20 million a year for 5 years. I mean, how much money you need for crying out loud? I mean, if I got it, I'd watch Verlander and Scherzer for nothing, for crying out loud. So that's what I would say, Mr. Bassett.
Yeah, and it's a great thing to say. I mean, if you're Bassett and you have the opportunity to be a part of this team with the talent that the Mets have brought in over the last couple seasons and bringing in Verlander now, you have you have a chance to really be a part of something special. And you're 34 years old. So, I mean, you can make your hay right now on a team that's going to vie for an opportunity to play in the World Series if healthy. And I don't know how you pass up something like that if you're Chris Bassett. Now, if you want to stay in New York, you go over to the Yankees, you could definitely help them out. But, right now, I mean, I would think if I'm Chris Bassett and I'm going to get a good amount of money to stay a Met, then you stay a Met. And now they've paid those pitchers, Verlander and Scherzer, $43.3 million a year annually each. So it's a very interesting place to be in. But if you can make some money with them and you could do some things there, then this would be the time to make that move, with the team being as strong as they have been and doing the things that they have done up to this point. The Mets are ready. They're pushing themselves to be a team that is not just going to be a playoff team, but to be a team that wants to get to the World Series, vie for that opportunity, and look to take a championship in the upcoming years, if not this coming season. So, I would think if I'm Chris Bassett, yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, it takes a long time to spend $1 million. If you turn down 19 of them, many people listening to the show, probably all of them, would take that $19 million and make it last a lifetime. So if I'm Chris Bassett and I go to the Mets and the Mets go, hey, we're going to give you $10 million a year, we're going to give you $20 million a year, we're going to give you $15 million a year, that's a yes, okay? Because I'm not going to spend all that money in one place. I'm not going to spend it all at one time, and I sure as heck want to be a part of a winning team. And who wouldn't be excited about the Mets right now, PJ? They're a team that has put itself together in such a way to be an exciting part of baseball now, and it's feel good. When the Mets are playing well, it's a different feel, especially in the state of New York. When you got the Mets and the Yankees vying for the playoffs, it's different.
You're right. I mean, I'm sure that Mr. Bassett is learned about Matt Scherzer's surliness, that I call it. Older pitchers, especially the dominant ones, they tend to be really surly during a game. And if he probably learned early on, don't talk to Scherzer when he's pitching. Don't ask him any questions while he's pitching. Do it later on. Do it during another time. And Verlander's the same kind of guy. Don't mess with him while he's pitching. Leave him alone. They sit in the dugouts by themselves. These two guys, they know what they're doing, how to do it, and where to do it, and what to do. They don't want to ask any questions. They don't want to answer any questions about how they deliver or what they're going to do with this guy or how do they face this guy. Wait until they're done pitching for the day or a start. And then the next day when you're sitting around the clubhouse there, you start throwing some questions at them, and they'll answer the questions then. But don't mess with them when they're pitching.
Yeah, no, you got, and absolutely not. I mean, you got it. You're in a zone. You're in a different place. Speaking here with Papa Joe from the Sunshine State, speaking on Major League Baseball moves, including Judge, deGrom, and Verlander, which ironically, those three names on your screen right now on Facebook.com and YouTube.com, both /WakeUpCallDT worldwide, those three names are the three highest paid players in the history of baseball per year. 40, the only players in baseball to ever make $40 or more million per season, and they're all active players, and they're all the names on your screen right now, which is pretty incredible. A Judge, $40 million a year in the new contract. deGrom and Verlander, $43.3 a piece. So that is a very interesting piece here. Speaking on a lot of money, shortstop Trea Turner, which Greg just brought up in the feed here. Philadelphia Phillies and Trea Turner have agreed on a deal. The shortstop is 29 years old. Now, the San Diego Padres, we're looking at him now. In the San Diego Padres, we know, I don't know where they're getting this money from in San Diego, but they are spending that bread like crazy. And they are doing everything they can to buy a team and put this team together. So looking at this right now, I mean, we look at it, shortstop Trea Turner, Philadelphia Phillies, 11-year, $300 million contract. Allegedly, the San Diego Padres offered more than $300 million. The alleged, and I always say alleged because it's not my source, but $342 million, somewhere around that world. But that's what we're seeing right now, PJ. So, we're looking at this, and, your thoughts on Trea Turner. Now, the deal, it has a full no-trade clause and no deferred money, ties Turner to the Phillies through 2033, and is the 10th $300 million plus contract in baseball history. He becomes the fourth shortstop to reach that number, with New York Mets Francisco Lindor, as well as Padres Fernando Tatis Jr. and Texas Rangers Corey Seager, all of the players that have gotten to at least a $300 million contract or more. So your thoughts on this move for Trea Turner and the Philadelphia Phillies to have him for the next 11 years to 2033 for $300 million?
Well, again, it boggles the mind the amount of money they're throwing around here. But, there was an old saying in baseball is that if you want to be competitive, you got to be strong up the middle. You got to have a catcher, you got to have a pitcher, you got to have second base, shortstop, and a center fielder. If you're strong up the middle, you're going to win a bunch of games. And no one's going to get anything by Turner. He's an exceptional shortstop, great glove, great range, big arm. I mean, he hits 30 homers. I mean, he bat 300. He can do anything. I've always liked Trea Turner, even when he was with Washington. So, but I don't understand why he would leave the Dodgers, because the Dodgers really perennially could go to the World Series every year, and with an excellent manager like Dave Roberts. I'm curious as to why he would make that decision. I haven't read anything about that, but he's a grown man, makes his own decisions. So he'll go to Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia looked real strong this year. You guys, whoever leading off it. Turner's a fun guy to watch. He's kind of a quiet guy, but he's an all-star every year, and he really got a chance to be a Hall of Famer if he keeps going the way he's doing. He's an excellent player, and kudos to Philadelphia.
And where is he from, PJ? Do you know his hometown, Trea Turner?
No.
Boynton Beach, Florida.
Boynton Beach, Florida. Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Boynton Beach, Florida. You what?
He didn't play for the Gators, I don't think.
No. Boynton Beach, Florida, the birthplace. Been down to Boynton Beach. Their sand is extremely hot, and not like St. Pete at the time. Bryce Harper. Your thoughts about Bryce Harper and Trea Turner being on the same team and in the same batting lineup.
Awesome. I mean, Harper will be in the Hall of Fame one year, certainly. And he's proven himself every year. That's a tough lineup. You got Reese Hopkins from first base, and you got Schwarber batting first. The first 5 or 6 guys are, they're multiple homer guys and average 300. I mean, they're great players. I'm going to enjoy watching Philadelphia this year. They also picked up. Let me see here who they got a pitcher that. They got Tajon Walker from the Mets. So Mets got to fill that hole right there. Now, Walker he comes with not a lot of baggage, but he's still a young guy learning how to throw. So I hope they have a good pitching coach over there. But the Phillies look like they're for real this year again. Yeah. And we'll see what happens to them. But Trey Turner leaving the Dodgers is really it piqued my interest on that one. I'd like to know why he did that.
And we see the moves being made by the Mets. We see the moves being made by the Philadelphia Phillies. PJ, on paper, who's the better team? I mean, they're both in the NL East. They both got to go up against each other to try and win that division. And then, whoever doesn't win it to vie for the wild card. Could we see 2 100-win teams come out of the NL East? I mean, are the Phillies and the Mets that good? And who's better?
Well, I think you give the edge to the Mets because of the pitching. And we don't want to belabor the point, but, we got 2 Hall of Famers on the staff who can teach the young pitchers what to do and how to do it and where to do it, where to locate the pitchers and so on. To me, pitching has always been the name of the game. I love to commentate pitching and defense. You win, you've heard me say that 1,000 times. And the Mets profess to know how to do these kind of things. And if they got a really good pitching coach, and I don't know who that is, I feel an idiot. I don't know who the pitching coach of the Mets is. But they have, certainly the Mets look like they're going to be probably the best team in the National League. Right now we can do our pundit stuff, and say that they're going to be right up there and going to probably win the league championship or lost the Mets. But it's too premature to do all that kind of stuff. I mean, as pundits, you can talk back and forth and argue and stuff like that. But I would say right offhand, just because of Verlander and Scherzer, that they have the edge.
Yeah, and Jeremy Hefner, the pitching coach over there for the Mets, as PJ makes mention here. Greg said 2 100-win teams happened last year with the Braves. NL East has 3 very solid teams on paper. So could it happen again? I think we could see, like I said before, a 100-win Phillies team and a 100-win Mets team this year. PJ, before we take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, you and I talk about your boy Mike Trout all the time. What are your thoughts on the record-setting position player contract that, what did I say? I said, this man is en route, speaking of Aaron Judge, to make the biggest contract ever. I said it over and over again here on Wake Up Call. He is on pace. The longer they don't sign him, the deeper we get into the season, the more he does. Then he breaks the home run record single season. Then they get into the playoffs. I said the longer they wait, this man is setting up to be the highest paid player ever. Now, is it the contract money-wise? Do you look at it and say, okay, well, there's more money in other contracts, right? $360 is not the highest overall, but the annual is the most ever for a position player, beating out Mike Trout. $40 million a year on average to Aaron Judge, beats out Mike Trout's $35.54 million he signed with the Los Angeles Angels. So there is proof right there in something that I said. These Yankees are putting themselves in a position that Aaron Judge is going to ask for the highest ever, and he got it. The highest annual ever for a position player, $40 million to Mike Trout's $35.54. So now Mike Trout is not the highest paid position player annually in baseball. That is now going to Aaron Judge. Not now, not in current baseball players, but in the history of Major League Baseball. No other position player will be paid more money per year than Aaron Judge. Your thoughts?
Well, Trout is my man. I mean, Aaron Judge is an exceptional talent. a generational talent, really. But Trout is more than that. Aaron Judge has a long way to go before he can tee it up with Mike Trout. Mike Trout just barely 30 years old, 3-time most valuable player. Probably going to break the home run record if he stays healthy and plays to 40 years old. He still is a 5-tool player. And although I think Judge is a good player, I'm not sure he's a 5-tool player, but he's certainly a 4. But Trout, I don't know if he's going to be a 5-tool player when he comes back this year, because he had been in the league 10 years. It's amazing. You know, Trout, he started when he was about 18, 19 years old, and he's 30 now, or somewhere around there, and he still plays at a high level. So, you know, Trout ID, I think if people do a little research, I think they will find that Trout's contract was for more than anyone else, which is something like $530 million based over, I don't know how many years it was, but I think the total, certainly the average is not what Judge is getting, but the total of it is certainly that no one is going to ever touch that one, and I don't know what it is for sure. I think it's 530 or something like that. So I think that Aaron Judge has a long way to go before he can tie Mike Trout's shoelaces.
Well, you know, when we look at it, like I said, setting up to be the highest paid player in baseball, biggest contract, looking at it, Aaron Judge did become the highest paid single season position player in baseball, but Mike Trout, as you and I both alluded to, has more money overall. $360 million is the 9-year contract with Aaron Judge and the Yankees. The Angels are in a 12-year contract for $426.5 million with Mike Trout, who is 31 years old, from Vineland, New Jersey, and who was born on August 7th, 1991. So I am 5 years and change older than Mike Trout, which is pretty crazy here. So that's insane. And Pat Mahomes and Mike Trout going back and forth with the biggest contract in sports history, which is pretty interesting there to take a look at that and how the contract broke down for Patty Mahomes. So, you know, it's crazy when you look to football that Pat Mahomes' contract as well, the amount of money that he is making. And I mean, it's insane money. You know, we call it monopoly money. And Pat Mahomes, $450 million over 10 years that he's getting to lead the Kansas City Chiefs, who may find their way back in the Super Bowl again. So, with that being said, we are going to take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for a fast break inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. When we come back, PJ and I will take a few more minutes with one another to talk about the beautiful sport of baseball as the Diamond Dons are here with you. PJ from the Sunshine State, and in hour number 2, Ross Turetsky joins me from the Keystone State of Pennsylvania right after this. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying. In the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Always appreciate being here with you inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-through location. You can also go to cafekubal.com and you can order from them today, including their awesome holiday blend. I would get the holiday blend just so I could keep the bag as a souvenir. That's how awesome it looks. It's really, really cool, and I love when they bring out the holiday cheer for the Christmas time and holidays in general, so love seeing it. And make sure you get out to Cafe Kubal today. Fill your cup up right with some Cafe Kubal. With that being said, PJ and I are hanging out here. I'm calling it the Diamond Dons of baseball. The Diamond Dons are PJ and Ross Turetsky here for you this morning. Ross is joining me in hour number 2. Diamond Don here in hour number 1. PJ, Papa Joe in his normal place on Thursday mornings. And PJ, we got some questions that came in. Where do we think Carlos Correa is going to land? Another shortstop here on the list. and then Swanson from the Braves. So that's there. A bunch of different players obviously are still out there taking a look at where they're going to land. Your thoughts on Swanson, who's currently a Brave, and Carlos Correa?
Carlos Correa is a great player. Great player for Houston. Part of their World Series team. Of course, he was one of the guys that was cheating too, but he didn't need to cheat. He's too good of a player. I guess he didn't like. I don't know if he's going to like staying with Minnesota or not, but he's got great range, and he's so big and tall that these kids that are coming up these days, Dansby's another one, these guys are tall and strong, and they can go in the hole and make the throw like that. Ball's 3 feet off the ground. I mean, it's just amazing how good they are. I think he'll land somewhere. I think where he needs to look at is Boston, because they just lost their quarterback, their shortstop. Bogarts signed with San Diego. So I think if Carrera's looking around, he's looking around for a good team that's going to be on maybe a pennant-winning drive. I think you got to look at the Red Sox. Now Swanson is a career Atlanta guy, another great guy with great range, hits well, runs well. All of these guys, you can throw a blanket over these shortstops. They're just so good, so active, and so strong. Derek Jeter sort of set the stage of what a shortstop is supposed to be. Tall and strong and hit well. And that's all these guys are following right behind him. Dansby can fill in anywhere, too. He should be able to command it. These guys are going to get big money, and I think that they'll probably both sign other than their teams that they're already with.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at it now. I mean, Swanson, we'll see, where he's going to go here in the grand scheme of things. Looking at that and the fact that, could he go back to where he is? The thing is, with the Minnesota Twins, and to go back to the conversation that we were having here about Carlos Correa, the Minnesota Twins are one of those teams where you say to yourself, who is going to really stay there, right? Who's going to stay there and build it and be a part of it? They've had talent in the past, but can they hold on to these guys, right? Is this a place where they're going to go? Because look at the San Francisco Giants right now, PJ. They missed on Aaron Judge, so they got money to spend. They got money to burn. Do they go after Carlos Correa? Do they make a move for him? Because, they have that money out there. When you look at the guys that are available, if you swing and you miss on one of them, then you have another opportunity at another guy that's sitting out there for you. So, you look at that, the Los Angeles Dodgers, now that Trey Turner is gone. But, I mean, in the Carlos Correa sweepstakes, you brought it up. Do you hold on to that fact that he was in a situation with the Houston Astros that was very horrible for baseball? And, we've talked about it a bunch here on the show. Does that put a black mark on Carlos Correa? Does it hurt his stock? Does it almost push him to stay with Minnesota if because of what happened? I mean, look at that in that case of it, PJ. I mean, does Carlos Correa, does he have a good sweepstakes, or does his connection to the scandal with the Astros affect him at this point?
This scandal is old news, Daniel. That's water over the dam. That's old stuff. I don't think any. Of course, the baseball purist like myself, certainly, I still have it in my heart that these guys should pay. But Carrera is just too good of a player. I tell you, one place that he really needs to look at, and you brought it up, was the San Francisco Giants. The Giants have been very fortunate to have one of the great shortstops of modern era, Brandon Crawford, play for them. He won 3 World Series with the Giants, with Bruce Bochy as the manager. Brandon Crawford in his mid-30s now. He's lost a step here and there. Still got a big arm. Doesn't hit as well he used to. So I think the writing's on the wall for Brandon. I'm not sure they'll release him or not this coming year, but it would be a good landing spot for either Swanson or Carrera.
Yeah, and we shall see where things shake out here as we continue to move forward in the world of baseball and looking at these free agents that are going to be available in this nice world that we get to live in here with the winter meetings and different things going on. Ross always likes to remind me that baseball never sleeps. And it makes sense because here I am wearing my New York shirt talking about, baseball with the Mets and the Yankees in the city that never sleeps. So always great to talk with PJ. Papa Joe here with us this morning. Will not carry into hour number 2 as he is still on the mend of feeling better, but I'm happy that he gutted it out, came on the show today, and brought what he always brings, which is great expertise and great passion, and fought through the way that he feels right now with his cold to be a part of the show. So
there's one other player I want to bring up before you go to Ross.
Yeah.
And this is a sneaky signing right here, but it could go down the road. The St. Louis Cardinals, of course, lost their 3 biggest players of Pujols and Wainwright and a catcher who's going to be in the Hall of Fame also. They signed Wilson Contreras from the Cubs for 5 years, $87.5 million. If you want to be a catcher in the National League, you need to find out how the St. Louis Cardinals do that, because their catch. Why can't I think of his name? Anyway. He retired. He's going to retire, and Contreras is going to move right in there and he's going to take over. So Contreras has got good footing. He comes from the Cubs. He's been with the Cubs forever, and he comes into the St. Louis Cardinals. To Yadier Molina, that's who I'm thinking about. Molina is going to be a Hall of Famer too. So, Contreras is going to come in for Molina now, which means if he plays 6 or 8 or 10 years, the St. Louis Cardinals are going to have just 2 catchers for something like 30 years or something like that, which is unheard of. No one plays a position like that at all anymore. I mean, for Molina, caught, I don't know how many games, over thousands of games, and he did it for 20 years straight. Was never hurt. Very rarely was he having a slump. And Contreras has got a chance to emulate that. So kudos to Contreras. Have a good show with Ross.
That coming from PJ, Papa Joe. Papa Joe, as always, I appreciate your time, appreciate your expertise as a Diamond Don. And here on Wake Up Call, I look forward to seeing you soon and talking with you soon. And more than anything, for you and Mary to get on the mend and get healthy and stay healthy. So continued prayers out to all of you, and I love you as always.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. That coming from PJ, and here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, hoping that he could get on the mend with Miss Mary T, as they have not been feeling good as of late, and it's been tough. It's been really tough to see them going through what they're going through right now. So just keep praying, everybody, and keep putting out positive energy toward PJ and Mary and everybody who's not feeling well, everybody who's under the weather. Let's keep loving each other up. Let's keep being good to each other, and let's keep staying positive. With that being said, we're going to take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and I always love having you here where sports meets that thing called life. We'll take a fast break. Ross is coming up in just a little bit. In about 10 minutes' time, he'll be here on the broadcast on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognize that we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Cafe Kubal on 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, New York, on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in their drive-thru location, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, in their giant behemoth of a brown-striped building, the double-decker cafe that they have there. So, and inside of these Cafe Kubal studios, we have awesome things that are set up around me at all times. And you can see the 315 Home Sweet Home sign. Love this sign. Really awesome. Here from Donnelly Designs, 315 Home Sweet Home. And then you can see over my shoulder here, we have the Cuse Home Sweet Home pillow, 315 Syracuse, with the new dome on the bottom of it. We have these awesome ornaments to hang on your tree this year. You can actually hang these in the house all year round. And we have the Upstate one here in orange and blue. And of course we have the Upstate New York, and this is actually a logo that you can find on your clothes as well. You get a bunch of clothes at Witty Wicks with this on it, the Upstate New York, and you can also get this ornament. And, of course, you can get the upside-down light that's right in front of Coleman's there by Tip Hill. So you can get the upside-down light. And this is the normal light. This is the light that we have on Tip Hill with green on the top. So you can definitely make sure that you get your way out to Witty Wicks and pick up all of this awesome stuff that they have to offer at Witty Wicks. And we put them right here in the studio as we deck out our studio with Witty Wicks beauty and awesome and just local upon local upon local. I mean, when I was down at Binghamton last night for the men's and women's basketball doubleheader, I was wearing my Upstate hat, which is for Upstate New York, and wearing my Upstate hat that I got from Witty Wicks. My Upstate shirt I wore this week that I also got from Witty Wicks, and when I travel, I'm typically wearing my Upstate when I'm at the airport and going across the country. So a lot of great stuff from Witty Wicks. I put my money where my mouth is. Get that upstate, get the 315, and I put them all in the studio as well to let you know about all the great things that you can get at Witty Wicks on 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York. I'm all about the community, and I appreciate Witty Wicks being all about our partnership and what we get to do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So we had the first Don of baseball, and in no specific order. It's not first and second, like one is in first place and one is in second place. The two Dons of baseball that I have here this morning, Papa Joe and Ross Turetsky. PJ joined us in hour number one. The Diamond Don of Ross Turetsky is going to be joining us in just a moment here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. We'll be getting his take on Judge, Verlander, deGrom, and more. He's a big New York Yankee fan, and obviously he pays a lot of attention to those New York teams, but I'm going to give Ross credit where credit is due, as I always do. He knows all 30 of these teams. He knows Major League Baseball. He studies this thing, and Ross is an encyclopedia of knowledge, always bringing it here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So he's going to be joining us after this fast break where sports meets that thing called life here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Very happy to have him here. And Greg sending well wishes to PJ and Miss Mary T. And thank you for that, Greg. And I let them know, too, on and off the air that you send your love and support. So many thanks and much appreciation for doing that and for just being a kind-hearted person. Means a lot, goes a long way, and we appreciate it tremendously. So with that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When we come back, I will be here with Mr. Ross Turetsky, as Ross will be joining me to speak on the Major League Baseball moves that have happened and maybe some ones that he's hoping will happen right after this.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsa Q's, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York. Coming to you, fall 2022. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Always appreciate having you here on the broadcast and inside of these Cafe Kubal Studios, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, as well as on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corner. So make sure you find your way over there in North Syracuse. Get out to the wonderful Cafe Kubal locations. And if you're like Ross and you're out of state, you can go to cafekubal.com. That's Cafe, Kubal.com. So make sure you do that today. Thank you for hanging out with us on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT worldwide. And thanks to our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York for all of their love and belief in what we're doing and how we do it differently. So much appreciation to all of you for that. And we thank you so much for being a part of the Wake Up Call family. And we had PJ here with us in hour number one. The Diamond Dons of baseball is what I'm calling it this morning. And our Diamond Don that we had on in hour number one, PJ, we appreciate him being here as always and love having Papa Joe here. And now it's time for us to bring on the other Don of baseball, and that is Mr. Ross Turetsky, hanging out with us from the Keystone State, where sports meets that thing called life. Ross, you and I are going to have a lot to get into. I'm sure that we will talk about 3 minutes of baseball and everything else will turn into something else. But I look forward to having fun with you as always. We already got questions coming in about our top 3 holiday movies. Don't answer that yet. We will get to that. But how are you doing, Mr. Turetsky?
I'm doing well. I know most of our conversations somehow turn into about lemon pepper chicken wings that one time. I don't know. Yeah. Somehow we get on like tangents about things that don't even make sense. So I'm sure it will get there. It will probably get extra sexy for this holiday season. Who knows? I'm feeling spicy this morning. I just went for a long run. My kid's at school until 11:30, so I had like 2.5 hours to myself. And any parent would know, like, when you're about to, like, smash your head into a wall because, you know, you love your kids more than anything, but they sometimes just drive you bonkers and they don't sleep at night. I understand. Yeah, and Alexa's just telling me I don't understand on my watch or Siri, whoever the heck she is. And all I'm saying is,
that was awesome.
I had some free time for myself.
That was awesome. You're like, you know, when parents want to bash their head against the wall and you don't know what to do, and Alexa's like, I don't understand. Yeah, you don't understand because you don't have kids, Alexa, all right? You don't have to deal with it. But I will tell you this. I had to unplug, again, I had to unplug my Alexa because I was talking to my dad, and it's been doing it. It turned on blue, and it stayed on and I didn't call her.
Jeff Bezos and
listen.
It's doing it right now on my Alexa as we speak. They are listening to your conversations.
Well, but in all seriousness, that friggin' thing turned on yesterday. I'm talking to my dad. I'm upstairs. My Alexa's downstairs, but I can see it. And I looked at my dad, and I'm talking to my dad on the phone, and I looked at the Alexa, and I was like, it turned blue. And I said to my dad, as we're talking right now, this stupid thing is on just recording. So I unplugged her. I'm waiting for the day that I unplug it and it turns on blue again. And like it proves to me that the AI doesn't even need to be plugged in anymore. And that would be horrendously horrifying. But I mean, this is not the first time that she has listened to me. She listens to me when I don't ask her to more than when I ask her to do something. And I don't even get me started with Siri, because Siri does not work on my phone. She will never talk to me if I ask to talk to her. But on my last phone, Siri started recording full-blown conversations, paragraphs of conversations. And I don't know if I told you this, Ross, but there was a time where I asked Alexa a question last year about the Toronto Raptors. And I asked her something about it. You know, hey, Alexa, whatever it was about the Toronto Raptors. I'm kid you not. So I've jokingly said that this artificial intelligence is way too smart, and we're like making Ultron right now. And she literally said this. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding at all, folks that are watching and listening around the world. Take notice to this, and please be vigilant. I said to her, whatever about the Raptors. She said, I don't know that one. So I thought it was over. I thought, okay, she doesn't know. She goes, I don't know that one. Would you like me to get Cortana? And I said, wait a minute. You girls know each other? You know, like, Cortana is HP. Alexa is Amazon. She literally said, I don't know that one. Would you like me to get Cortana? And if the artificial intelligence knows that there's other artificial intelligence out there and treats them as a friend across platforms and companies.
They're teaming up, buddy. You better watch out. The synergy there. They're coming to attack us when we least expect it.
And I'm sitting here going like, well, you didn't mention Siri, so obviously she is because I think Siri is the meanest one. She's the one with like the coldest heart. Like Siri, of course I would have an iPhone because Siri's like the one. Cortana, she dirty. Cortana is so dirty. My buddy asked her, she's like, he was like, what did he say? He's like, Cortana, what are you wearing? And she goes, no, more importantly, what are you wearing?
Ooh,
and then,
that's very sensual.
And then I asked Siri what she was wearing, and she told me I was being inappropriate. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? I was like, Siri, knock it off.
Ask her if she loves you. She's like, I don't understand that. I'm not capable of love. It's very cold-hearted, robotic. Just like some of the women I've dated in the past. They're very cold and robotic, so you have to watch out. She has a mean streak about her, and you better watch out this holiday season. Because Siri, Alexa, they're all lighting up in my house as we speak. They come to attack me in my sleep. Because it's just like Santa Claus. They know when you're sleeping. They know when you're awake. So be good for goodness sake. Watch out, because they're coming to attack the machines.
Yeah, I mean, listen. They are, and I'm saying this, and I'm saying this with love, folks, and I'm saying it with love, and I'm saying it with a whole lot of truth. I asked her, and she said, I don't know that one. Would you like me to get Cortana? And I was like, y'all know each other? Like that, to me, that moment was horrifying because I've jokingly said it. But when listen, I pride myself on predictions that I've made that have come true. I pride myself on the ability to make a good prediction and to, you know, put something out there. And a lot of them have come to fruition. But there's also been predictions that I've had in life that I did not want to be true. One of them being that Cortana and Alexa and all these AIs hang out with each other and that they know each other and that they turn on and they listen. I mean, when I tell you she was listening yesterday, she turned on and I felt like that blue circle was staring at me and she did not turn off. And I literally had to unplug her. I walked toward her, nothing. She didn't even try to hide that she was listening. It was like one of those movies where you finally find out that you're right, you're not crazy, and that all these people that have been trying to hide to you that this government thing is happening, you find out it's happening, and then it's like in your face, like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? That was Alexa yesterday. She's like, what are you going to do? But the fact that they talk to each other and they know each other, I want people to truly understand this is not a joke. This is not one of those, haha, Dan, good one. I asked her. She knows Cortana. I'm horrified of that, because if artificial intelligence can speak to each other in their digital universe, we all need to realize that, there's a little bit of iRobot going on right now, and I'm not cool with that at all. Or the Matrix. There's also some Matrix going on.
I'm cool with Keanu Reeves. If Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne, Morpheus wants to come to my house, I'm cool with that. But everything else is pretty scary about our future. Any post-apocalyptic, futuristic movie or show we watch, bad stuff happens, and if you're the human race, you don't want to be the human race in those shows or movies, because the robots and the animals and everyone else besides you and technology takes over. So I think we should just think of happier thoughts, like my buddy Aaron Judge got paid. Show me the money. And that's the perfect segue, because he got paid 9 years, $360 million, $40 million a season. Take that, because the San Diego Padres, at the last second, which is where the winter meetings were being held for baseball, offered him 10 years, $400 million. He said, no, thank you. And then the Giants, his hometown team that he rooted for, offered him the 9 years, $360, and I think offered him more. And they said, no, thank you. And there was a tweet the other night, but right when I was going to dinner on Tuesday night, that was saying Aaron Judge is going to go to the Giants. And for 7 minutes, my heart just fell out of my body. My daughter, who's a diehard Aaron Judge fan, was heartbroken. And then 7 minutes later, they retracted that statement. We woke up yesterday morning before school. Aaron Judge was back on the Yankees magically. So all is right with the world. And never mind that, if you look at the tweet, I'm sure they're going to make T-shirts now. The guy was trying to rush so much before he retracted it. He called him Arson Judge, like he's an arsonist. So Arson Judge was a San Francisco Giant for 7 minutes. So the Giants can keep Arson Judge for as long as they want, as long as we have the real Aaron Judge on the New York Yankees.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Arson Judge was causing so many fires on social media. And
what the guy wrote yesterday, then he was talking about a guy who's pitched for the Phillies, won a World Series in 2008, who might want to pitch again after not throwing for 2 years, Cole Hamels. Cole Hamels, which a lot of people from Philly, beloved pitcher, won a championship for them. He called him Coke Hamels. So then I saw something online. Can you imagine if they made a cool new Netflix or Apple Plus series called Arson and Coke Arson? They'd be cool detectives or whatever they want to be. They could be bounty hunters from the future. I want to see a show with Arson and Coke on my TV very soon.
I feel like we should play Arson and Coke, because think about it. I mean, we could literally.
Our last names, just Arson and Coke. You don't ever get to find out our last names.
But and that's the thing, Arson and Coke. But think about it. If the show is called Arson and Coke and those were our nicknames, we could literally be, like undercover police officers looking for people that commit arson and the drug lords, the cocaine and all that. So I got to ask you the question. If you and I played Arson and Coke, would you rather be Arson or would you rather be Coke?
I want to be Arson, because I like to set the world on fire like the Joker does. I just want to watch the world burn. So whatever happens, I'm going to be the instigator, and you can try to put it out with your delicious Coke, but I'm going to set the world ablaze. Why so serious?
I love that, because it's funny in the sense of, and I'll never forget that line where he said, some men can't be bought, reasoned with, or negotiated. Some men just want to watch the world burn. And that's what Alfred said to Christian Bale's.
Here we go.
Christian Bale's Jane. And but the thing is it's like, that's how I feel the world is now. A lot of people just want to watch it burn. And, it's like you're trying to stop it and cooler heads prevail. But there are crazy people out there. As Coke, though, I would say I would definitely enjoy that, because, well, I'm Hispanic and Italian, so I could definitely bring the accents to it and bring those pieces to it as well. And at the same time, go look up some history of Italian families and whatnot. But I did jokingly say that I was going to get the jelly donut and do the Tyrone Biggums, because I'm a big fan of Tyrone Biggums and
Did
Chappelle.
You see him come back to Saturday Night Live? Dave Chappelle, when he hosted it a few weeks ago, he came back with all his famous characters, including the great Tyrone Biggums, trying to licking his lips for that extra sweet sugar he wanted.
You know what dog food tastes like? Do you? Do you know what it tastes like? It tastes just like it smells. Delicious. So and I did. I said to myself when I was working in Scranton, I said, I'm going to get a jelly donut. I'm going to put it all over my face, and I'm going to go into work, because I really genuinely got to a point with my bosses there where they were just being ridiculous. But then I thought to myself, I know at least one of my bosses that would have pulled me aside and said, "Where did you get that? And can you get me some?" So I was like, I obviously can't wear that. But as arson and coke, what city would we want to be based in? Los Angeles, because they're all ridiculous out there. Where would we go? Or where would we go to, like, Suarez, Mexico? Where would we go?
I want to go to Miami, like a Miami Vice, Scarface type situation. I think that would be pretty awesome. We could wear thick gold chains. We could have those cool Miami nights. I think that'd be the awesome place to be. We could play the Will Smith song, "I'm Going to Miami." We'll get the smacks on, just like he loves to do. And it'll be awesome. I think we should have it in Miami. Arson and coke. Coming to a TV network near you. I think Netflix, Apple, Amazon, all of them. Disney Plus will even want to bid on this. I think this would be the greatest show. So as much as you are making fun of this John Heyman, this great sports writer who is getting trashed now for making these wrong tweets, basically because he's rushing too much, I think he's trying to throw subliminal messages. I think he's trying to sell a script here, and I think we should buy it, and we should go on this right now.
Yeah, I mean, I love us as arson and coke. I'm already thinking of the posters. I'm already thinking of, like, those cheesy catchphrases that we would be talking to each other back and forth, where I could say, "You know what? We came down here to Miami because we thought that that's where the drug lords were. But it seems to be heating up, Arson. I think this one's your case." You know what I mean? Like, something ridiculous.
And then you got to be like David Caruso from CSI Miami, and they play that, rah, that big loud music. You put your sunglasses on, and you look like a total douche. That's what you need to be, because that's what David Caruso, he specializes in being a D-bag in any show or movie he's in. Look it up, David Caruso. He is the ultimate D-bag in the world. That's who we need to be in this show.
And, like, right when I arrest one of the drug lords, I go, "They don't call me Pepsi. They call me Coke for a reason." And then I put my glasses on. I would like that, you know. "I don't drink Pepsi. They call me Coke." You know what I mean? And just the really stupid lines that you know, we could do in that, where I could say, "Hey, I could say, 'Hey, Arson, why don't you be the judge of that?'" You know what I mean? Like, just bring it back. Bring the tweets back. Bring all that stuff back together. There's nothing wrong with a little coke in your morning. You know what I mean? Oh, I could say that. I could be the guy who's not married, who's sleeping with, like, different girls in different cities, and I could say, "Hey, why drink water when you can have a little coke in your morning?" You know what I mean? Like, I really think we're on. Well, this is like Nash Bridges meets Miami Vice. I think we could do this. I think we should do this. Anyway, little Walker Texas Ranger to it as well. I like it. I like it a lot.
I'm starting the screenplay as we speak. Forget picking up my son from school. He can wait a little while. I'm going to start writing the script right now.
Yeah, well, no, how about this? How about this? Arson and Judge don't pick up kids. Like,
yeah, you're about to say they just make kids. They don't pick up kids.
We just make it.
Just like the guy who just lost for Senator, Herschel Walker. He just makes kids. He don't pick them up.
Yeah, arson and coke. We make them. We don't train them. We don't pick them up, and we don't watch them. We just make them. Yeah, I love that. I think that's great. And I can see us in the glasses. Ross and I are going to get together in the next couple of days. I think you and I need to do a photo shoot so I can start doing the branding for Arson and Coke. I think we need to start doing this.
I want to make some poster boards. I want to make them. I think we can make it look good. And anyone who wants to join our insane revolution, by all means, we're ready for auditions. Video auditions, in-person auditions, we're ready to go. Casting's underway.
Yeah, you know, and I, like Adam Sandler, will only be casting as my significant others: Selma Hayek, Brooklyn Decker, Jennifer Aniston. I don't know how he does it. I really don't.
Whoever he gets to be the most attractive A-list female star, that's who's going to be his wife in a movie.
You know, it's just I love I love it. I love it so. Oh, you know what? And see, I'm thinking about more stuff now. It'd be like, you know, once you go Coke, you never go broke. You know, I mean, I do. I think we need. Thank goodness that this man made some honest typos. But you know, is in the reality of the world. Okay, when I'm putting out a message and like it's 3:00 in the morning and I can't even see my phone. Yeah, but there's times where I put stuff out where I can't. I'm so tired, and I put it out. And I'm like, oh my good Lord, baby Jesus. Like, if anybody catches this and screenshots it, they go, "Oh, Dan, good job. You spelled Jesse with one S instead of two, Jesse Edwards." It's like, I mean, people make mistakes, for goodness sakes. But, I'm not here to make fun of this guy at all, and I haven't this morning.
And not during the winter meetings when there's insane baseball, hardcore baseball fans like myself.
I'm not making fun of this guy. This guy just gave us our movie title. I mean, I am not mad at him at all. I am not mad at him at all.
I just this is like the Super Bowl for baseball, the winter meetings where all the big trades and signings are happening. You would think you would just double check for all, but if you saw with the Arson Judge tweet, he thought, I think at that moment it meant more to him to break the story. So, because now they like to decide, give credit who did first. So he said, first with the news, with his name, John Heyman. So I think for that moment, he wanted to beat his rival sports writers, and he wanted to get first with the exclusive about the Arson Judge news, and it came back to bite him. But, like I said, it was entertaining, but then it was very weird. The next day, whether it was in potential or not, he came up with coke handles. So I don't understand how that happened. You got to proofread your tweets, but I get it. You're on a deadline, and you want to break a story, that type of stuff will happen. But for a moment there, all Yankees fans' hearts were broken, and I was ready for the worst when I went to bed on Tuesday night. When I woke up on Wednesday morning, it was like Christmas morning. It was the greatest thing on earth. So we're happy Aaron Judge or Arson Judge is back on the Yankees. Very excited about that. They finally paid him. It's long overdue. They should have done it ages ago. The Yankees are lucky that they keep spending money and getting big-time players. And then I know we want to talk about a few other free agents. The Mets, they lost Jacob deGrom. 3 days later, they got Justin Verlander, who's almost 40, but he just won the Cy Young Award, and his wife is Kate Upton, so she comes to New York as well with the package, so that's pretty nice as well. So, and the Phillies keep spending money. They spent 11 years, $300 million to get their new shortstop, Trey Turner, so from the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're spending money. The Red Sox are spending money. The Padres are spending money. They just took the Red Sox shortstop, Xavier Bogaerts. Lots of money being wheeling and dealing, and if you don't get on it right away, you're going to be left in the lurch and have nothing to show for it. So, like I said, it's not all about who spends the money, but a lot of moves were made, and it's all basically to see who can try to dethrone the juggernaut, the Houston Astros, and beat them in a potential World Series clash next season. So it's going to be very interesting to see. And like I said, it's the countdown. We're only about 2 months away from pitchers and catchers on Valentine's Day say, forget your wife and girlfriend. We're going to Florida, Arizona for
Wait a minute. I didn't know Tom Brady was a pitcher.
He'll do anything just to stay away from his family.
They don't. But now it's with me. I can't just now that you are Arson and I am emphatically Coke. It's like they don't call me Coke for no reason. I'm always sniffing out everything. I mean, like I just.
The puns never stop. These were the roles we were meant to play. This is just desperate.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, we would play the cheat because we know what it looks like to cheese it. Like, because I think we're good screenwriters and I think we would be good actors, and so I think that we would. It's like a spoof, but we would be serious, but also poking fun at like putting the glasses on and doing that stuff. Arson and Coke. And let me say something to this too about being first to the story. There are many people that owe me public apologies because no matter how many times I've said breaking news, exclusive, or first to the story, almost 0% of the time do I get credit. I've been doing a story for half a year on Lemoyne potentially going D1. 5 months into it, a kid in like Illinois or Iowa broke the story and wrote breaking news. And I'm like, really, dude? So, don't worry because Coke always sniffs out an imposter. Always. I mean, I'm there.
I'll give you credit, buddy. I watch all the Yes Network for Yankees coverage, and they had a lot of Yankees hot stuff. I just saw a replay from the other day. Your voice was on Yes Network because they had the press conference.
Did you hear my name that they said historically wrong? Dan Tortora? Who the hell is that man? They're like,
I don't know, but I saw the name. They butchered it, but I recognized the voice.
Yeah.
And I got to hear your questions. And Dino Babers and the Minnesota head football coach, can't pronounce his name for the life of me, but it was very cool that Ryan Rucco and the other people on the telecast, they had all these local writers and announcers from the Minnesota, New York area and all that stuff to preview the Pinstripe Bowl, which is 3 weeks from today, December 29th, 2 p.m. on ESPN.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be at Yankee Stadium. We were there 10 years ago in the snow when Syracuse with Doug Marrone. Remember Doug Marrone, who used to coach in the NFL?
Yeah, we were there.
He knocked off Geno Smith in West Virginia, who were the big favorites, in the snow. They were doing the Snow Angels at Yankee Stadium. It was great. It was a freezing cold night, and hopefully it'll be another great game. They're back at the Pinstripe Bowl for the third time ever. first time in 10 years, and I got to see you. Well, not see you, but I got to hear you on Yes Network, our Yankees channel, on national TV that anyone around the world can hear, and it was pretty cool. So I want to congratulate you on that. You talk about not getting the credit you deserve. I want to give you credit because you did a good job. You asked some good questions, and you were quite the professional.
Oh, thank you. And they said Randy Levine was going to be on the call, and he wasn't, and I know why. Because he was doing because I couldn't help myself. Because normally I stay with it, but if Randy Levine was on there, I would have been like, hey, Randy, great pinstripe ball. Is Aaron Judge coming back or not? Let's just talk about what's important. And granted, he wasn't on the call because he was probably making another call to Aaron Judge at the time. But in working that out or meeting with him or whatever it may be, thank you for that. They reported me as DT Sports and Broadcast, whatever the heck it is, because no matter how many times I tell certain institutions it's wakeupcalldt.com, they will write whatever they feel like. The DT Candyland party of tomorrow. I have no idea. But he was like, DT Sports with the broadcast, Dan Tortora. And I was like, no, call me Coke.
Just Coke. That's all.
Yeah. Here's Coke and arson on the Yes Network. Hey, what's up, players? How you doing? But The other
thing I want to quickly mention is, you talk about your Italian, Spanish in your ancestry and all that.
Yeah.
Well, where basically the big Aaron Judge news, what ended up kind of putting it over the top to get him to stay with the Yankees, Hal Steinbrenner, the son of the late great George Steinbrenner, who was notorious for firing people, hiring people left and right on a whim. If you annoyed him or didn't win enough championships, even if you won 100 games in a season, you didn't win the World Series, you could be fired the next day. Well, he was on vacation in Italy, called him up in the middle of the night. This is why the news broke so late at night. Well, it was 5:20 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning San Diego time, where the meetings were, 8:30 our time, right before I was getting my daughter to school. He called him late at night in Italy on vacation, and he told Judge one last time, basically, I want to know right now, this is what his dad did when he tried to re-sign Bernie Williams back in the 90s when the Red Sox almost stole him away. He basically said, do you want to be a Yankee? He told Judge late at night. And he was very much like his father here, Hal Steinbrenner, which a lot of people have, booed him. I went to Paul O'Neill's retirement ceremony at Yankee Stadium. People think he's a cheapskate compared to his father. The father was one to put money in, and the younger Steinbrenner is not. He said, do you want to be a Yankee? And Judge said yes. And then he said, he told him right then and there, what will it take to be a Yankee? He said, I really want that 9th year. I need you to match the Giants over. He's like, if that's what it takes, deal is done. Say yes, and we're done. They made it happen in the middle of the night. On a phone call from on vacation in Italy, they agreed to it, and the deal was done later that morning. It was announced. So he got things done in Italy on vacation, and he made sure that Yankee fans have a nice big 6'8", 280-pound superstar in their Christmas stocking this holiday season instead of having a lump of coal in their stocking and crying their eyes out. So things got done, and it was very exciting, very nerve-wracking because for, like I said, a little while, it looked like he was gone to his hometown Giants team that he grew up loving. And now he's a Yankee for life because he can be Derek Jeter was his whole career, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Babe Ruth for the majority of his career, Lou Gehrig. Number could be retired at Monument Park, number 99, a future Hall of Famer, and he could do it all as a Yankee and be part of that ultimate legacy forever Yankee that is very hard to match no matter how great he would have been with the Giants. The Giants have Willie Mays, Barry Bonds. They have other guys who are legendary. The Yankees have a very small list, and to be on that list, you will be famous forever, and you'll have endorsements forever. Even after your contract, your 9 years, $360 million are out the window, which is a ton of money for generation after generation of your family. Derek Jeter, 8 years after retiring, is still doing commercials and still very famous and just had his documentary, The Captain. The Captain, the sequel, is probably going to come out when Judge is done playing. And it just works out. You get to be part of forever, and it's very hard to duplicate that. Plus, he's probably going to be named the next captain of the Yankees, something that has not been named very often in the Yankees' history. The last two were Don Mattingly and Derek Jeter, and Jeter's been gone for over 8 years now. So now it looks like Aaron Judge, he's the part of the Yankees for the next 9 years. He will be the next captain of the New York Yankees, and I can't wait to see it. And I can't wait. My daughter, by the time this contract is over, my daughter will be a sophomore in high school. So that's what's crazy about it. She's in kindergarten now. When this contract is over, she'll be a sophomore in high school. Yes, he might not be the same player as he is now. He might be, kind of old, beat up, a little heavier. But for the next almost decade, until my daughter's a teenager about to drive a car and scare the heck out of me on the road that she's driving a car with a license, that's when Aaron Judge will play on the New York Yankees. So I'm very excited about that. And so is my daughter, Lorelai. Great early Christmas present for her.
Yeah, and I said it to Bob Beretta, the Lemoyne AD. We were talking about it. I said, Bob, you don't understand. They have Aaron Judge stuffed animals. Like they can't do, like, they have to make this. They have to make this happen.
By the way, if you go to Yankee Stadium, that's the only dolls they have.
Yeah.
Almost all their merchandise, besides like the legendary, like Jeter, Ruth, Garrick, Mantle, DiMaggio, they have T-shirts of them and old jerseys. The only actual like dolls, plush dolls, and like current people that they really promote there is Aaron Judge. That's the only guy they market. So if you lose him, he makes up a ton of money just on merchandise alone. Never mind what he does on the field and what he brings to the table as a star. So I don't know what they would do if Aaron Judge left. There'd be a lot of dolls going on sale for 90% off this season.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. So, and I thought about that. I said, they can't do this. They can't do this to my niece. They can't do this to Lorelai. And you were talking about Italy, and it just brought up, a line that I have to share with you. You and I in Italy in an arson and coke extravaganza, and we're like,
maybe that's how we got the deal done.
Yeah.
We basically threatened House Timer for the Yankees. You either give this man the money he wants, the years he wants, or else. And we scared him. We dangled him over the rooftop like Suge Knight did to Vanilla Ice, and we got the deal done. That's because you know why? Because that's what arson and coke does. They get stuff done.
Well, think about this, right? You and I are sitting back, smoking something. We're leaning back in chairs on a porch, and I as I light up the thing that I'm smoking, I look at you, I go, and we're sitting in Italy, got the whole setting of Italy, leaned back, the sun is going down, so the sky looks like it's on fire, and I light up something, and I go, hey, Arson, Rome's burning. Like that. That to me is, that's what we need. Now Greg said bow wow, but
I'm not making something. I know there's a weird noise that they make every time with his sunglasses on.
Yeah.
And CSI show.
Yeah. Hey, Arson, Rome's burning. So Greg said, he said, I vote that Coke and Arson got to be a comedic duo. Maybe set in Middle America, a little snow on the ground, but you got to keep the shades. I can see Ross in Guy Fieri or Charlie Sheen shirt. By the way, if you want to buy like the Charlie Sheen shirt from 2.5 Men, it is always on sale at Kohl's. I don't know why. The black one with the gray and like the palm trees, it is always at Kohl's. So if you want to look,
shirt to go bowling in. It's
Yeah.
just a very laid back shirt.
Yeah. Hey, Arson. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to have a bunch of this stuff. Like, okay, if we find a criminal, right? Because you know what black lights do to things that people do, in when people get, a little extravagant in the intimacy area, we could literally go to a bowling alley and shut off all the lights and turn on the blue light. We turn on the black light, and I say, "Hey, Arson, sounds like somebody was doing more than coke here." You know what I mean? Like, it'd be great. I think it'd be awesome. Like, hey, if you ever want a roadmap to finding out where this guy's been, turn on the black light. You know what I mean? Like, it's inappropriate, but it's real, and I want to let people know.
Get the hand sanitizer out and make sure you clean off all those bullet balls.
Yeah.
You don't want to be putting your fingers in those balls.
Yeah. Turn on the black light special, and you'll realize what's really going down in Scranton. You know, I mean, like, but it is, and I can tell you, when you turn on a black light, a lot of people are not ready for Midnight Bowl because they brought the wrong pants, and that is all I'm going to say. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break.
Let's be in the witness. You're talking about being small town America. We could be in the witness protection program as Arson and Coke. We were like big time people in a gang or mafia, and now we've been relocated to like Scranton, Pennsylvania, kind of in the middle of nowhere, and then Arson and Coke fly under the radar before we start our new criminal enterprise. Possibility.
Yeah, we could. I like us as potential former criminals turn into cops. Like, we got some deal with the FBI where they allowed us to go to some middle America place to become police officers because we were so good as criminals and we understand the criminals because we were on that side. And the whole point of it was we were criminals, we got arrested, we were going to be in jail for the rest of our lives. And what kept us off from being in jail was that we tipped him off to somebody. We were an informant to something, and now we're back out. But the whole catch is we got to work for them now. I like it. I think it's interesting, and we will be back on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora momentarily after this fast break. As Arson and Coke continue to bring you through. Who would have thought your Thursday morning was going to be this spicy? You know what I mean? So we'll be back right after this. Achi kachi kachi. You know, so we'll be back right after this.
A lot of babies were just born right now.
Yeah. A lot of babies were born to that voice that I'm putting out there. You know? That kind of raspy and a little bit deep enough. You know what I mean? So we'll take a step aside. I can't believe I just said deep enough. We're going to take a step aside on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We will be back with more Arson and Coke. We'll be back with more Arson and Coke right after this, where sports meets life, inside of the Cafe Kubal studios.
Sports. This is definitely sports talk. Not sexual here.
Yeah. And you know what? From Cafe Kubal, how about this? Arson and Coke connection to Cafe Kubal. Arson and Coke, the only double shot you need. You know what I mean? So we'll take a step aside here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We'll be back right after this.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Also, Arson and Coke. And we're inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios, 3501 James Street, 327 and Taft Road at Sweetheart. Anywhere else outside of upstate and central New York, you can go to cafekubal.com. That's cafe, Kubal.com. I thought of a good one based off of something Ross was saying to me off the air during the fast break, is that we could literally have somebody in custody and we're trying to get them to speak. And they're like, I'm not going to tell you anything. And it's like, well, you probably should. And then literally their headquarters blows up behind us while we're talking to them. And I go, by the way, that was an exploding offer.
And then you can be like MacGruber and just pee on it, because that's something MacGruber would do. MacGruber!
You know. How many licks does it take to get to the center of this case? And then something blows up, and I'm like, well, I guess we'll never know.
I just love that you chose the Christian Bale Batman voice because I think that's the perfect voice for Coke. I don't know what Arson's voice should be, but I know your voice definitely should be Coke.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing though. It's the voice that I think of. You know, it's like a mixture of Christian Bale. It's a mixture of In a World. You know, it's kind of it's a little bit of goodness is what it is. And I also said to Ross that like after he blows something up, that I would go and like light my cigar on the fire of the thing that he's blowing up.
But you gotta do like you do in the movies. Actually, you walk away without even turning around at the massive explosion behind you, and then you're feeling the burning sensation behind you. You put the sunglasses on without a care in the world, and you just walk really cool, smoking your cigarette or having a toothpick or something while there's a big fire behind you. That's exactly like they do in the action movies. Somehow they're nonchalant when there's an explosion behind them. That's how you have to be in Coke in Arson and Coke.
Yeah, you know, and that's there's so many things that we can do with this, and I'm very excited about the opportunity to
put it out to your audience. Let's get some ideas from them what they're thinking out there. I know they're listening. I'm sure they have ideas. I'd love to hear what Dan Tortora's audience is thinking, because what would you do in your version of Arson and Coke? Because I think that we're open to all ideas when we come up with this. How
about we could have me at a doctor's visit, and they could say, and the doctor could say, well, what's going on here, Coke? And I could just look down at the ground, light up my cigar, and go, I don't know, but whatever it is, it burns. You know? That actually could be.
I can be the doctor at this part. You might have a sexually transmitted disease. Here's some Valtrex. Now you can go canoeing or hiking with your best friends, just like in the commercials.
You know, or we could like go and in one of the things, Carson Daly could be like somebody that like dies in that episode, and you could and we could look over him, and you could say, he looks a little crisp, and I could say, you could call him Arson Daly. Like I feel we got to find your voice though. We got to get your voice because that would be your line. So, and that would be the thing is that's what Greg said. Arson doesn't smoke, but Coke would be the one that smokes the cigars all the time. So that would be perfect. Like I could like hand you one and say, no, I'm not really into fire. And then I could be like, really? You know, I think we got to find your voice. We got to find Arson's voice.
Put on the Cookie Monster and go, it's for cooking. I need to set things on fire. Please, Austin, I need to burn things now.
You could have a high voice. You could have a higher pitched voice. That could work. But
Hi, Coke. Let's burn some stuff now. Let's blow things up. I think that's the voice. He's a high pitched voice. Let's blow some stuff up.
It sounds like it's.
Have a great time.
It sounds like I'm working with Elmo. Elmo says today's.
Ask for consent first.
Elmo says today's ticker word is giggle. That kind of also sounds like Stitch though. But it's weird. Stitch is very close to Elmo because it's like Elmo says, and then Stitch is like a more grungy. It's like, oh, blue punch buggy. So we gotta find your voice. We'll find it. I found my voice, but we gotta get yours.
I think it's the high pitched voice. I think for now, that's the front runner. You got the very low, graspy voice, like you're a chain smoker, kind of like Batman's voice. I think for now, until I find something better, we'll go with the high pitched voice because you got such a great, diverse bunch of voices there. You got high pitch and the super low voice. I think it just works very well.
Yeah, we can bring it together. We got some time on this, and we got some legs on it. So before, it's funny how I ironically said, and very, jokingly said, hey, this is the show where this is what, when Ross comes on, we're supposed to talk about sports, and we go off the...
We quickly talked about baseball, but then baseball...
But I said it like it wasn't going to happen. I was like, yeah, we typically go off tangent onto something, but not today. And then I blacked out and woke up, and I'm Coke now. So, let's go to baseball for a second here. The names that are up here on the board that people are seeing on YouTube and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, those are Judge, deGrom, and Verlander. Ironically, the three highest single season payouts ever in the history of baseball. And they're all in the state of New York, surprisingly. And I'm sure Syracuse will be paying for that by increased taxes. And they're all current players. Jacob deGrom and Justin Verlander. Well, deGrom gone now. But looking at the amount of money that these I'm sorry. It's Scherzer, not deGrom. My apologies on that. Scherzer.
deGrom pitched rehab games in your hometown in Syracuse for AAA, but he decided maybe he didn't want to play in New York anymore. You know, the Mets are winning games now. They won 101 games and they choked in the playoffs. They have the richest owner in baseball, Steve Cohen. He decided to go to Texas, where you make a little more money because there's no state income tax. But the Texas Rangers have been god-awful for years. They've been signing some big players last offseason. They got Marcus Semien and Corey Seager, 2 superstar position players, but they've never had really good pitching. Basically since Nolan Ryan left 30 years ago. So now they're getting some pitching, but they're still going to probably be god-awful. And they're in a division with the champion Astros, the Seattle Mariners, who broke their playoff streak of 21 years, the playoff drought. The LA Angels, if they could ever get it together with Ohtani and Mike Trout, the superstar players. And then, the Oakland Athletics stink because they don't spend money. But even them, they might move to Vegas soon, like the Raiders, and they might become a powerhouse. So even with the Texas Rangers, all this money they're spending, they're still going to be awful. They're still going to be almost in last place, probably just one spot ahead of the Oakland Athletics. Yeah. And they spent a ton of money for a pitcher who's 34 years old and is great when he's healthy. He's the best pitcher in baseball, but he gets hurt every season. He barely pitches 11 or 12 games a year, and you're spending like $43 million a season or $37 million a season for this guy. It's not worth it because the Mets, even as much as their owner wanted him back, they were not willing to go to that financial commitment. But you know what it took? The Texas Rangers were desperate. They're desperate to be relevant in a place where it's all about Dallas Cowboys football in Texas. They wanted to be relevant, and maybe they will be for a little bit. But I think in the end, he's going to break down, get injured, but at least he got paid. So I'm happy he got paid, and he was a great Mets pitcher. It's sad to see him go. He's one of the greatest pitchers when he's healthy. But that's the thing, when he's healthy, if he's healthy, and I don't think he's going to stay healthy.
Well, and that's and going off of that too, the most notable Texas Ranger is named Walker. So, I mean, that's the guy that I know. The Texas Rangers, I know 2 things about the Texas Rangers. Walker, Texas Ranger, and I know that they were sold for less money than the contract of Alex Rodriguez with the Texas Rangers. So, it's...
And President George W. Bush used to own the Texas Rangers and sold them for a massive profit.
And when he sold them for less than what it costs for them to have Alex Rodriguez. I do want to make a note here in the show because I believe in when you're wrong, saying that you're wrong and correcting it. I know that the media doesn't believe in that as a whole, but I do. So Jacob deGrom, what I said on this board in hour number 1 and hour number 2 is that I said the 3 names up here are the 3 highest paid. I have deGrom up here and Verlander because we were talking about all that. Scherzer is the name that I meant here this morning, so let me correct myself. Judge, Scherzer, Verlander, the 3 current players that are in baseball are the 3 highest single-season annual salary award winners here. We have Judge with 40, the first guy outside of pitching, right? The first position player to ever make $40 million passing Mike Trout, who had the highest for a position player at $35.54 million, and then Verlander and Scherzer making $43.3 million each a season, and both on the same team. So your thoughts on this, Ross, that the 3 highest single-season salary players are not only all currently playing in baseball, but they're all in the state of New York. Your thoughts on that Verlander, Scherzer, and Judge are the highest single-season salary players in Major League Baseball history. They're all in New York, and they're all going to be playing, God willing, in 2023.
It's a number 1 media market in the country, and basically New York is where it's at. If you make it there, you can make it anywhere, as the Frank Sinatra New York song said. They have the richest owners in sports. Steve Cohen, the Mets' new owner, he's not afraid to whip out that checkbook. Neither is the Steinbrenner family, as much as at times they've been a little frugal. But they have, since the late great George Steinbrenner passed away, it's been 13 years since they won a World Series for the Yankees. I know for most teams, that's not that big of a deal. For the Yankees, that's like an eternity. That's like 100 years without winning a World Series. It's like the curse that Bambino and the Red Sox went years and years without winning a World Series before they broke the curse in 2004. The Yankees expect to win championships. and it's been 13 years. It's been since 2009 since they've won one. They are putting their money where their mouth is. So are the Mets. The Mets, they lose Jacob deGrom, and then within a matter of days, within 3 days, they get Justin Verlander. And yes, Verlander and Scherzer, they're getting paid tons of money. They're both on the older side. They're both nearing 40 years old. So who knows if they're going to stay healthy the whole year and break down before the playoffs. But if they can get to the playoffs, they have a great 1-2 punch. And they used to pitch together for the Detroit Tigers. They're both multiple Cy Young Award winners. Scherzer, Verlander. Verlander just won the Cy Young this year after missing almost 2 full years with Tommy John surgery. They are lights-out pitchers when they're on. They're money pitchers when they're on. They're clutch in postseason, in big games. And I just think that's pretty amazing. The Mets, they were freaking out. Met fans, how do we lose deGrom? And I know deGrom's a little bit younger. But let's be honest, Verlander is probably a less riskier move than deGrom because Verlander, you had to sign him for less years. Only 2 years and an option for a third instead of 5 years and an option for a 6th year with deGrom. He stays healthier most of the time more than Jacob deGrom. And Verlander and Scherzer, a 1-2 punch like that, I just think that's going to be, it could be a lights out combination. The only thing I'm disappointed is because deGrom was hurt so much last year, and that was the only year he got to pitch with Max Scherzer. So that was going to be a great 1-2 punch. Well, now we get another great 1-2 punch, and we get to see it again later in their careers where they want to win another championship. You get Verlander just coming off a championship year with the Astros and Scherzer together. And I just think the Mets are going to be primed to be another juggernaut season. But they're in a great division. They're going to face off against the Atlanta Braves, who won the World Series 2 years ago, and they're a heck of a team. You have the Philadelphia Phillies spending tons of money. They just made the World Series and almost beat the Astros in the championship. So all these teams are competing left and right. And in New York, you got to compete for the back pages of all the New York media and the newspapers and everything. They want to be known. You can't just have a rebuilding year in New York. So they're spending their money. They're putting their money where their mouth is. Some of these guys, they could break down. In the end, some of these contracts might not be worthwhile. But right now, if you're a New York fan, especially for baseball, you got to be happy that the owners, they spend their money, they put their money back on the product. Instead of some of these teams that year after year they lose, and even though they're all these owners are billionaires, some of them cry poverty, they get revenue sharing from other teams, and they just pocket the money, which to me is a criminal thing to do. They're not poor. None of these owners are poor. I get New York has an advantage because even though there's lots of taxes there, they get so much revenue and so much money from playing in New York and all the media attention. But all these owners, they have the money. They're capable of signing players. A lot of them don't want to do it. They don't want to, even if they have to dip into their own pockets and spend the money. These 2 New York owners, the Steinbrenner family and Steve Cohen for the Yankees and Mets respectively, they are willing to do it. They put their money where their mouth is. Hopefully it will lead to a championship. Hopefully it will lead to a Subway Series. Yankees versus Mets in the World Series. For a little while, that looked like that was going to happen this year. I would love to happen next year in 2023. So I'm very excited that the Yankees, they got the Judge. They brought Ed Rizzo back. They got Tommy Cano. They might get Carlos Rondon, the star pitcher from the Giants. They might bring back Andrew Benintendi. And the Mets, they keep adding players. And they look like they're poised to be a juggernaut as well. So New York baseball is a good spot, which is great because for a while the Mets were laughing stocks in baseball for a long time. They were always considered a cheap franchise. And the Yankees, for a long time, it had looked like the Hal Steinbrenner was not going to follow in his father's footsteps, and he was going to let Aaron Judge just leave and walk away to his hometown Giants. In the end, he made it done. He got it done on vacation. Arson and Coke got it done. We shook that money out of him. And now the big prize, Aaron Judge is back on the Yankees. So Yankees and Mets are spending money. I know the rest of the owners, and they just had that lockout last year where it was very messy. We didn't know if we were going to have a baseball season last year. A lot of the little owners are complaining, how can we compete with New York and all their money? Like I said, they do revenue sharing. They do have a draft lottery now. The Pirates got the #1 draft pick for this upcoming season. There are ways you can do it. And we see the Tampa Bay Rays every year contend for championships, and they have almost no money. But they find ways to contend. So there are ways to do it if you draft well and you groom your players from the minor league system. And then eventually when they make a lot of money, you have to get rid of them and get new guys. But there's a lot of also very rich billionaire owners who cry poverty. They have the money, and they just don't want to spend the money. So you have to give kudos to the owners who do put their money where their mouth is and do their very best for the fans who put all their hard work and money to go to these games. Where you said this a few times ago when we did the show, the average amount it takes to take like a family of 4 to a Yankees game or Mets game, it's very expensive. So the least you can do is put a good product on the field to entertain us, be a nice, comforting distraction in this crazy world of ours, and hopefully win some games and maybe get to celebrate a championship and contend every year. And with those two owners in New York, they will contend every single season because they will make sure of it, and I like that. So it's good to see. I wish most owners would, if not all owners, would be willing to do that. But I think a lot of owners are on the cheap side, and they just don't want to do it.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff there coming from Ross Turetsky, giving us his thoughts on the Mets and the Yankees and where things stand right now. We'll have plenty to talk about in the coming weeks, and we'll, of course, have Ross back on the show. We will bring Ross back to talk about Christmas movies and whatnot. So, Greg, thank you for the question. We're going to hold off on that today, but we will bring it back. Ross, as always.
Elf, Christmas Vacation. I like them all.
So,
and Die Hard. Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I don't care what you say. It takes place at Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. So is Batman Returns with Tim Burton and the Penguin. That takes place at Christmas. Christmas movie. I don't care if the movie came out in May or June. If it takes place during Christmas, it's a freaking Christmas movie. And I want to see that Violent Night Christmas movie that David Harbour from Stranger Things.
I got to see it in October. I got to see that movie at the beginning of October. We saw the entire movie, sworn to secrecy. And at the end of it all, we were like, there was literally a card. I don't know why they didn't hand these to us. You had to like take them yourself. But it said you are allowed to report, like you can talk about this movie on this date. It was literally like, here's the date that you could talk. Anything before this.
Or a sniper will take
it. It's like anything before this, don't say anything. By the way, really great movie, Violent Night. Honestly, not what I thought it was. Totally turned the other direction. Good movie. Doesn't make fun of Santa Claus. It's quite opposite. And I thought David Harbour did a great job. John Leguizamo was in there. And there was definitely some good things to enjoy. I would like to watch Arson and Coke watch Violent Night. That's what I would like to see. So would that
be good? It'd be like a Mystery 3000, Mystery Theater 3000 type situation. We watch movies and comment about them and tell jokes. So I think it'd be good. That movie looks good. But I do like the Christmas movies, and I'm also excited for Hanukkah as well. We celebrate Hanukkah in this house, so I feel like I'm Hanukkah Harry. I like it all, and my kids love spinning the dreidels as well, so we get the best of both worlds in this house. So looking forward to the holidays, and looking forward to talking about Christmas movies with one day. But remember, we got to get on that Arson and Coke script. That's the top priority right now. Forget about picking up LJ. He can wait at school. We got to do Arson and Coke right now.
We don't pick them up, we don't clean them, and we don't feed them.
We don't even feed them.
But we sure as heck make them. Baby.
It sounds like a cat, like a feral cat out on the street crying.
That coming from Ross and I. Arson and Coke. Ross, as always, thank you for your time. Ross Turetsky. Go and check out all of his stuff. You can follow him on the social medias and check out his articles and everything that he does with basketball, football, and so on and so forth. All of his baseball content, all the broadcasts that he does, DJ Roscoe Show. Check it out on social media. Ross, as always, I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you soon because we have to do our Arson and Coke photo shoot. And for those of you that don't think I'm serious, Ross has known me long enough to know that I'm dead serious to the point where I might drive down there right now. So I'll see you very soon, buddy, and I look forward to what's to come with Arson and Coke.
The camera, the home studio is ready for you. Let's shoot some billboards and put it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Let's get it up within the week. I would love to do it. So happy holidays. Thanks for having me on. It's time to actually get LJ because they might call me to it and say, you got to get your son now. He's pooping his brains out. Pick up your son now. So I got to go get him. But Arson and Coke lives on. Have a great day. Aaron Judge is back. They showed him the money. And thanks for having me on, buddy. Love you.
I love you too. Private screening in my bedroom. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. I love you too, buddy. See ya. That coming from Ross Turetsky here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Oh, Arson and Coke. Thank goodness for typos, because we make lemons. What is it? No, we make lemonade out of lemons. No, we make. It's gonna be great, and I'm very excited and look forward to it very, very much so. So definitely looking forward to what's to come with Arson and Coke. And that's the thing, right? You turn a negative into a positive. Guy made an honest mistake, and we're not making fun of him. We're taking the names that are out there, and literally in this, I didn't think about any of this prior to. This is all in the moment stuff. I sat here this morning as I always do with Ross, my brain, I don't even feel like my brain is on. It's like I just trust it, right? It's like I'm just going with it. I'm clear as a bird, and him and I have always worked like that. I don't have to think about anything. It just happens, and we just go. And all of that was created today with no prior anything. Nothing. It was just in the moment. Arson and Coke, born today on Wake Up Call in Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. Tune in live to Wake Up Call every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You better. YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT. On Facebook.com / Live Now DT, and on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage. Once the shows go live, you can pop into the archives and check us out worldwide on any one of these very notable and awesome places for podcasting and so much more. Amazon Music, Audible, as well as iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, TuneIn, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Thanks to our incredible partners here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora: Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Witty Wicks, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Pizza Man, Hottest City of Liverpool, Mother's Cupboard, Chick-fil-A Watertown, and 317 at Montgomery, where Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora just had our first ever Christmas party, and it was incredible. I wouldn't change a thing. 317 at Montgomery, the place in downtown Syracuse for you to go to. Head off there on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. The name of the restaurant is the name of the restaurant is their location. Makes it very easy for you. 317 at Montgomery on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York, right in downtown Syracuse. And of course, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your College Dolphins. It is Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time is Dolphin Time. The first and third Wednesday of each month is AD and DT, where Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, come to you with special topics every AD and DT series. And, of course, we have done an exclusive series on realignment and reclassification and the potential for Lemoyne College to move from Division II to Division I. And, of course, every second and fourth Wednesday, bringing you the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student-athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. So make sure you check those out on the Lemoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com, as well as by going to our YouTube channel and subscribing there and searching our Lemoyne content, youtube.com / wakeupcalldt. For more information on your Dolphins, go to LemoyneDolphins.com. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is also the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse. The Bobcats, and I appreciate the Bobcats so very much for being a part of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Much love to the Bryan and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse. The Bobcat Buzz comes to you every single month here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, exclusively with student athletes, administration, and coaches. We have given you content from games themselves on site on location, as well as roundtable discussions with the leaders at Bryan and Stratton, and of course roundtables with their teams and history-making moments with the inaugural baseball team. We've had a lot of fun with Rapid Fire, and we will have so much more coming up for you this month as well in the holiday season with the Bobcats. Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. Check out our content by going to the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com and subscribing to youtube.com / wakeupcalldt and searching the Bobcats there. For more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. With all of that here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank the Diamond Dons of Baseball, Papa Joe and Ross Turetsky, for joining me here on the broadcast. And I want to thank you for being a part of history as Arson and Coke were born. MonPazPopcorn.com is what's popping. Head off to Mon Paz today. They got a ton of great stuff going on at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Get into the holiday spirit at Ma and Paz. And remember that every tin you buy, no matter how big or small, is half-price refills for the rest of your life. So you could keep going back with that tin and refilling it with the flavors that you love for the rest of your life at half price for those refills. So make sure you do that. Thanks to Cafe Cabal. Big thanks to Witty Wicks for decking out our studio with all this great stuff that you can get today at Witty Wicks, 190 Township Boulevard in Camillus, New York, right in front of Movie Tavern. Head out there today and show them some love. And, of course, find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, the Twitter at Call DT, and Instagram at Wake Up Call.